presented by Professor Hazlie bin Mokhlis, one of the professors in the Department of Electrical Engineering, University of Malaya, Malaysia. Yeah. Last Monday, we also had a lecture. Yeah, it is related to the electrical distribution system, and today we have a more general topic regarding the research paper. Yeah, how to publish a good quality research paper. I hope this webinar or guest lecture will be useful and bring advantages to us, yeah, particularly, yeah, for the students, master degree and PhD, yeah, doctoral degree students in the Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Indonesia. Okay, I will show the today's agenda, yeah, our agenda for today. Yeah, is it shown? Can you see our agenda for today? Yeah, first we will start at 2 p.m. yeah, 1400, and we will have some preparation. Maybe it's already done until 5 minutes later, and then we continue to the opening speech from Dr. Catur Apriyono on behalf of the Department of Electrical Engineering, Universitas Indonesia, and then we continue to photo session because we will have a photo session at the beginning, not at the end of the lecture, and then we continue to the lecture by Prof. Hazlie. It's around maybe 60 minutes, yeah, more or less. And then we continue to the Q&A session for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then we can wrap up closing our lecture for today. All right, maybe we can just continue to our next agenda, which is opening speech, yeah, on behalf of Pak Aris Subiantoro, yeah, because he cannot join with us today. So Dr. Catur Apriyono, time is yours, please.
Okay, thank you, Pak Fauzan. Okay, good evening, Prof. Hazlie. At first, yeah, at first we are so sorry that Dr. Aris Subiantoro cannot greeting you today because he suddenly has another important appointment, and she sent regards to you. Maybe first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Catur Apriyono. I'm a lecturer also in Department of Electrical Engineering, University of Indonesia, majoring telecommunication. In this occasion, on behalf of Department of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Indonesia, we would like to appreciate and say thank you very much for your time to support our program in UI. At first, we would like to invite you to stay in UI for 1 or 2 weeks for various activities. However, due to the pandemic situation, we must change activities to virtually like this guest lecture. We hope for the next, we can invite you to stay and enjoy UI, do various collaboration between our faculty members and UM, and also possible agreement between our institutions. Today's lecture is actually very useful for our students because we have subjects that are mandatory for students to publish their research work. In our master program, students have to publish at least one international proceeding paper. And for doctoral degree, we have actually 2 schemes. First is PhD by research program. We have first is by course that students have to publish at least one international journal paper. And second is PhD by research. Student must publish 2 international journal papers. The subject grading is based on the publisher quality. For example, a student can obtain A grading if they succeed to publish in Q1 or Q2 journal. So it depends on the paper quality. It's really related with today's topic of your lecture. And finally, we hope everyone enjoyed today's lecture and get many benefits from Prof. Hazlie experience. Thank you very much, Prof. Hazlie, and everyone. Have an enjoy for today's lecture. And I give back to moderator, Mr. Fauzan, to lead today's webinar. Thank you. Good
Yeah.
evening.
Thank you, Dr. Catur Apriyono, for the opening. It's quite clear, yeah, about the importance or the benefit of today's lecture, especially for us, the students, postgraduate student, master degree, and doctoral degree. Okay, we can continue to our next agenda. It's a photo session. Yeah, I think everyone can turn on the camera, yeah, and use the background we have provided, yeah, through the chat room. Yeah, so we can take a picture for everybody. I think you can turn on the camera. So who will take the picture? Maybe Ivan Karkati. Who?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna take the picture. Okay.
Karkati, can you unmute your microphone?
Oh yes, sir. Can you unshare share screen first?
Oh,
Stop your
okay.
share screen first. Thank you.
Okay, wait. Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2. Okay. One moment, please. Okay. Once again. 1, 2. Okay. Thank you, sir. Back to you.
Okay, that's all. Okay, good. Now we have reached our main agenda for today. Yeah. It is a lecture by Prof. Hazlie bin Mokhlis. But first, let me introduce Prof. Hazlie, yeah, the biography of Prof. Hazlie. Maybe some of you already seen this before in the lectures on Monday, yeah, last Monday. Prof. Hazlie bin Mokhlis, he is one of the professors at the Department of the Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, University of Malaya, Malaysia. Yeah. And his education background, the bachelor and master degree from the University of Malaya in 1999 and 2003. And he got PhD degree from the University of Manchester in 2009. And he has more than 300 publications, including journal and proceedings. The citation, which is based on the Scopus, is more than 5,000 citations. And based on Google Scholar, it's 7,722 citations as per yesterday, I think. Yeah. And the H index, 37 as per Scopus and 43 as per the Google Scholar. Prof. Hazlie another activities, including he is also a reviewer for the international journals. For example, like IEEE transaction on power systems, yeah, IEEE transaction on sustainable energy. Yeah, I think both are Q1 journals, and also International Journal of Electrical Power and Energy System. Yeah, I think this is also Q1 and etc. Yeah, many journals he has been involved as a reviewer. And Prof. Hazlie also a member or working group, yeah, in the development of Malaysian power system analysis and studies. He is also a chartered engineer by Engineering Council UK, professional engineer as Board of Engineers Malaysia, And currently, he is also chair of the IEEE Power and Energy Society, IEEE PES, Malaysia chapter. Okay, and this research, his research interest, we have talked this previously on Monday, which is including fault location. This is mostly power system things. Network reconfiguration, islanding operation. Islanding detection, renewable energy, and also grid resilience, as last time he talked about. Okay, this is a general profile of Prof. Hazlie bin Mokhlis. Maybe we shall continue to our lecture. It's about 60 minutes, more or less. And I pass the Prof. Hazlie. Time is yours, I think. Thank you. Please.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Can you see my slide, Dr. Fauzan?
Wait a minute, I have to close this one. All right. All right.
You can see the slide.
I can see. How about the others? I think.
Yes, sir, we can see the slide.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so thank you very much to Dr. Fauzan for introducing me. Thank you very much also to the Universitas Indonesia for inviting me to share a little bit of my knowledge. Okay, so for today's talk is about publication, a journey to publish a good quality research paper. Okay, if you cannot hear me, let me know, because seems the internet connection at my place not so good at the moment, but I'll try my best so that you can not miss anything. All right. So the main idea of this talk today is more on sharing knowledge. There are many of the discussion here, I believe that you have covered or you have learned in research methodology, and you have know a lot of it. I will focus more maybe on the my personal experience, how I guide my student, or how I did my publication at the earlier stage of my career as a lecturer. So more or less I will relate with my experience, because many of the points that I will show you today, I strongly believe that you have seen and you have learned in research methodology. Oops. Okay, so before we start, let's see this one points which is good for us to ponder. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So if we relate this statement with what we want to do in writing or publishing, when we start, it is very difficult. When we are starting to do anything, publication also the same. When we want to start, it's not easy. So I remember when I was a master student, I finished my degree and I worked for a while, and then I continue my master in research. And then my supervisor asked me to write a research paper, and he start with IEEE transaction in power system. So it is really, really hard at the time. But when I reflect back, I start to remember what I have gone through. Actually, at the beginning, it's very difficult. But when you start to do it, it is a process. It is a process. You will become familiar, and at the end, you will see that writing a research paper is just adding or providing information, and you will see some sort of a template. How to write, you already know how to do it, the process, everything. But when it starts, it's not easy, I would say. But we need to start somewhere. Okay, so the outline of my presentation today, I will talk about the objective, why we need to publish, what is the motivation behind publishing, not only to get your PhD because of it is a requirement for master or PhD, you need to publish, but actually there are other factor or motivation that you need to look on it to push yourself to publish. Okay, and then I will talk about journal quality. Okay, maybe this one you already know, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. And then tips to start to publish, how we can immediately publish. Because I believe that whoever already passed their master or their PhD, you have materials to publish, regardless it is a good quality journal or it is moderate journal. For sure, you can have something that you can publish. And then I will talk also about how to write a review paper. Beside the technical paper that we familiar, actually there are a lot of journals that accept review paper. And review paper, there is a strategy for us how to write review paper. We can do a teamwork, for example. Later I will talk a little more about this. And then I also will talk about tips to increase publication visibility. Because maybe some of you already published quite a lot, but how you want to increase this visibility. So other researchers see your publication, refer your publication, and read your publication. So there are some tips that I would share today. And I also will share my experience as a student and also as a supervisor with regards to publication. And I will conclude my presentation. Okay. The idea of this presentation, actually, I would like to increase the awareness about the importance of publishing your research work. You have done a lot of work, not easy, consume time. So now you need to reward yourself by publishing your work so that others will know your work. And then I will talk about about the overview of journal quality, tips how to start writing, and I will share my experience, my own experience in publishing. Okay, so what is the motivation for us to write or to publish? The number one, scientific career. It's related to scientific career because as an academician, okay, or you are from industry, it is very relevant for you to share your knowledge with others. I will elaborate more detail. And then number two, writing to learn. This is important for those who are a student. When you start, before you write your thesis, actually, if you have published your paper, it will help you a lot, because when we do our research, actually we do not in a proper sequence. Mean we do this and the next day we do this and we go back, redo again. So this sequence is not there when we do the research, because it's more, we try this, not working, we try this. But when you want to publish, you cannot show this. You need to make sure the way you explain in sequence, in a proper or logical manner. So actually, publication or publish or prepare a paper, it will help you to rearrange your thought, your thinking skills. You see the sequence of your work. Number three, to disseminate knowledge, mean to share to others. Number four, to prove the quality of your research, meaning if your paper is highly cited, meaning there is an interest from other researchers on your paper, meaning there is some value on the paper. Okay. And number five, well documentation. Okay. When you publish a lot, all of that nowadays is very easy to be accessed by others. They just type your name, it will come out in the Google Scholar. If you have publication, automatically they can know who are you, what is your background. And number six, it is really benefited to the institution. So I'm sure that you know that nowadays there are a lot of ranking, okay, QS ranking, Times Higher Education ranking, Shanghai Jiangtong ranking. All of this ranking, actually, one of the factor they consider is publication. Publication. Okay, so this is some of the motivation. This is the details. Okay, so scientific career as a scientist or academician, we need to share our knowledge. When you write a paper from your research, you also will improve your teaching quality, because you can relate whatever theory that you teach to your student with your research, and you will see more details. For example, when last time I taught a subject on numerical method, and then some of the theory and the numerical method I use it in the research, so I can relate with the research to the student. So student will see how the theory that you teach in the class being used in practical. So this is important. And as an academician, publication, you cannot run away from publication as an academician, because it will be a factors for hiring or promotion. So some university, for example, like UM, for promotion, they spell out clearly how many number of paper, how many number of corresponding authors for the paper, what is your citation, H index, and etc. And lastly, it is also important for funding, because nowadays, when you apply for grant, okay, in Malaysia, they will look at your track record. Okay, in your track record, if the grant that you apply, the title is not match what you have published, the government will not give the grant. So they check up to the researchers itself. Okay, and number two, writing is a way to learn. Okay, as I said, it's important for postgraduate students to write their own papers, so that when they want to write the for the thesis, it become more easier, because you already rearrange the process of doing the research. So writing involves thinking, planning, okay, evaluate, defending ideas. Because you need, when you write a paper, you need to know how to compress the idea so that reader can understand easily, and then you need to verify the work by comparing your result with other result. Okay, and you need to defend your idea, why your idea is better or improve from as compared to the previous work. Okay, so for me, the important thing of publication as a student point of view is that it really helps you in presenting the idea in a very compact form, because paper usually 8 pages, very limited. So you need to think how to compress everything, but to show the value of your work. So this is important for students and also for researchers. And then motivation number 3 is like to share the knowledge. So if you look at the Islamic point of view, there is a hadith, okay, the saying of our Prophet Muhammad SAW, that when humankind dies, his good deed also come to end, except 3 things: ongoing charity, number 2, beneficial knowledge, and a good offspring, a good children that make dua for you. So one of it is a beneficial knowledge. So actually, when you write a paper and you publish the paper, we never know when your ideas will be used, maybe after 20 years. So if you do in a good manner, so you will get the reward, although we already died. This is from the Islamic point of view. So that is the benefit of knowledge that you share with others. Okay. And number 4, proof of quality of your research. Okay. So of course, when we publish, other researchers will see your publication. If your publication in a good ranking journal, Q1, Q2, meaning the quality is good. Or if Q4, it's a moderate. So it reflects the quality of your research. Number 5, the motivation of 5, well documentation. Nowadays, there are a lot of, we would say, social media, but for researchers. There is a ResearchGate, Publons, Academia, ORCID ID, and others. So all of your publication will be documented, okay, forever, until you die actually. And it is good when you publish more, the more list of paper you have in your publication in the social media, so people will know you easily, your work, what you're doing. So this is more on the visibility. I would say this is the visibility of your work. And number 6, it is also benefit to our institution where we work, because most of the ranking organization like Time Higher Education, QS, they will look at the citation numbers of the academic. For example, QS top ranking university, QS, on the left side here, you can see here, this is the breakdown of the marking, the mark that they give: academic reputation, employer reputation, student to faculty ratio, research citation per faculty member, proportion of international faculty staff, proportion of international students. So one of it here, you can see research citation per faculty member. So the total citation divided to the faculty member. Okay. The same for Time Higher Education, but here the weightage is more, 30%. Based on the number of citation university research obtained, normalized by number of subject area. Okay, so basically all of these ranking organization, they look at the citation per faculty member. So that's why this is a very important. When we publish, not only you will gain personal benefit, I mean your name become well known, but actually at the same time you helping your institution to be recognized in the worldwide. Because you can see the factor that we consider in ranking, one of it is research citation per faculty member. Okay, example for UM, for my university, so the recent one, UM got number 59 in the world. So if you look at the mark here, this is the score. The citation per faculty, we still not get good mark. Still 47, less than 50. Okay, less than 50. Although, because we start actually, we are focusing on publication actually not too early. Is around 2009 when we got the new VC. He start to encourage academician to start to publish. Okay, so you can see still not high. That's why we still number 59. So the others quite high, the mark. Okay, high, but for this one not so good, and still not so good. Okay, and general quality. General quality is based on, in general, by the Clarivate Analytics. Clarivate Analytics are the Web of Science. They're the one who rank the journal. For Scopus, we have the Scimago Institution ranking. This one is more on for Scopus journal. Okay. So the Clarivate Analytics Web of Science, it is an organization that analyze the numbers of papers for all the journals, and from that they provide the index to measure how good is the journal. So basically, one of the main thing is that the highest number of citation will lead to the good ranking position for that journal. So it is measured as the impact factor, impact factor, IF, impact factor. Okay, so for Clarivate Analytics, this is how they measure the journal. So if, for example, 2017, journal impact factor is measured by this number is citation. Okay, total citation for last 2 years. Okay, and divided by the number of citable item in 2015 and 16. This one. Okay. And actually it's based on number of paper lah. This one not so right. This one, citation for past 2 years divided by the total number of publication for last 2 years. Okay, this is the formula. So from this impact factor, they will rank the journal. They will rank the journal. If you look here, journal impact factor 10.733, 10.429, and others. So, and they will rank according to their area, specific area, because one journal, it can be more than one area. It can be in computer science, it can be in electrical. So they have different category. Okay, how we know? We need to check in the Web of Science, but actually this Web of Science is by subscribing. So, if our institution not subscribe this facility, we do not know. But if you want to know, you can check with maybe your friend that working institution where they subscribe in this journal impact factor or in the Web of Science, so they will know. So basically the journal in ISI is ranked according to 4 categories, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Okay, so we can check actually in the journal citation report. For example, I just provide this example. IEEE transaction on power system. This is 2017. So we can see the data, journal citation report years from 1997 until 2017. So now it's until 2020 lah. So we'll see the journal impact factor, the index that measure. You can see it's increment trend. But this is a specific for, you can see the area engineering, electrical, and electronic. Okay, because certain journal, they have the impact factor maybe more than 20, especially the journal from that based on review paper. They have very high impact, but that one is for general. But when we look at the specific category like electrical, electronic, they have a different ranking. But it's Q1, so they have the different ranking. For example, like this. The electrical engineering, electrical is for power system, and this is the ranking 22/260 and so on. Okay, and the journal can be categorized under more than one category. For example, a journal called Renewable and Sustainable Energy Review. Okay, it can be in the cannot see green and sustainable science technology. So different category. Okay, they have more than one category. Here, energy and fuel, and it also belong to green and sustainable science and technology. Okay, so they have different category there. Okay, so why, for example, like why encourage the staff, student to publish in ISI journal? In for PhD student, they need to publish minimum 2 ISI journal in order to submit their PhD thesis. For master, 1. Okay, so why encourage ISI journal? Okay, because it will get better visibility, higher credibility, and good incentive. Higher credibility because the most of the journal, this is like Q1, they have a good review process and not easy. It's not that straightforward. So like Q1 journal, for example, in the one that I know is better is in the power system area. So sometimes they have more than 5 reviewers. Recently, when I read some article, some of the writer complained about IEEE in power system because like him, he got more than 10 reviewers at one time, more than 10 reviewers. So you can imagine the process is not that straightforward, because this reviewer usually they have a good experience, so their comment is very tough. So why, if we try to submit, if it is rejected, in case it's rejected, you will get a good comment, and this comment will help you to improve your PhD work or master work or your research. And the review is very very good, and it is also free. It's free. That's why nowadays, many journal, the chief editor will filter first. Immediately, if he see that the quality is not up to certain standard, he will not proceed to the review. Immediately, it will be rejected without review process. Without review process, because the number of papers is too many nowadays, especially from China. From China, there are a lot of researchers there. So that's why they try to minimize the number of papers because too many. Okay. And then at the same time, majority of the ISI journal is also indexed in Scopus. More than 90% indexed in Scopus. So the question that we always ask to ourselves, when to start? When to start to write a paper? How to start? Where to submit? And then can I do it? How difficult to publish? So this is a common thinking as a researcher, student. They think when to start. Is it after 3 semesters is enough? Is it the data is enough? So this is the common question. Okay. So let's see. I will discuss some of this point afterward. Okay. Tips to start to publish. So actually, submission a manuscript to a journal is exciting for researchers because you will test your work whether it is acceptable at the international level or not. That's a big test. Mean whatever you have done, you write properly and then you submit, and it is like an examination. Someone will review your work and give comment. And the news of acceptance from the editor is more exciting. Okay, so student usually for the first time when they got accepted, they are very, very happy. Okay, they are very happy and very excited. However, news of rejection is usually very depressing. Okay, this is common. I have many students that have experienced this. Some of the students, they try, they got rejection more than 10 times. More than 10 times. 10 times. But he keep trying, improving. From one journal, submit, reject, improve, submit to other journal. And until up to the point whereby after some time, whatever you submit, you will be accepted. Because this is a process. It's a process. Okay, it's a process, continuous process. So we try and then fail. We got comment, improve, submit to original until to the point where you'll be accepted. So in general, the general response, 20%, 25% is desk reject, meaning this is at the chief editor. Chief editor. So chief editor will look and see if it is not fit to the journal scope, they will reject immediately. Desk revise. Okay, desk revise, meaning chief editor can also decide the paper seems there is some contribution, but maybe it's not clear, so it can immediately reject and ask to improve and resubmit. Okay, reject with reviewer comment 30%, revise and resubmit 40%. Okay, so this is a general trend of the process of where they accept or reject. Okay. So what is the tips for you to start publishing, number one, you need to familiarize yourself with potential publication. Look at what is the current interest, hot topics. So nowadays, the main hot topic is whatever related to renewable energy, for example. Okay, in renewable energy. When I say renewable energy, it's not necessarily power system. It can be material science. It can be mechanical. Because there are a lot of journals based on this renewable energy themes. So you can look at the list of publication. I mean, if you do not know where to submit, one of the tips, you go to any professor in the world, you look where they submit where are their paper being accepted. Okay. And then choose the publication that best suits your research paper. Because specific journal, they have their own audience. So, and the scope, maybe some journal like electrical engineering, so it is common, so meaning communication can come in, computer science can come into the journal, but there are some specific like power system, so it's very specific. You cannot send us like chemical engineering to power system, of course it will be rejected. So you need to know which area. And actually you also can see if you want to send to a specific journal, your work need to be very strong. I mean, the findings should be very strong because it's very specific area. But if you send to a journal that is a little bit general, like electrical engineering, for example, so usually the expectation is not that high. Okay. One of the journal that I commonly send, my students send, is like Turkish journal. You can try. Turkish electrical journal, something like that. Okay, so this one is they usually have at least 2 reviewer, and the reviewer is not that too difficult as compared to other journal. So it is good way to start. For example, for you, if you're not really confident to send a very high level journal. Okay, so hot topic is like renewable energy. Okay. Okay. And then if you want to prepare your manuscript, remember, don't take a risk by submitting without well preparation and checking. From my experience, as a supervisor or as was a student, actually you yourself can judge whether there is a chance for acceptance or not. To be frank, you yourself can judge whether your paper will be accepted or not. Because usually if you put a lot of effort and then you look at you can compare your work with others' work in that journal, you can judge yourself actually whether it is fit or not, or is it the chances high or not to be accepted. Because I have experience where usually when my students submitted, I will check, but I check not details, because I want them to learn the process. Because if I do everything, they will not learn. Okay, but when it got the review process, I will put my effort. Okay, so if I do it properly, I ask the student to do this, a lot of things. Most of the time, 90%, it will be accepted. I can feel that. But if some cases I'm not really focusing, okay, I just ask the student to do this. Really is rejected. So actually, you yourself can judge or you can sense whether there are chance or not. Okay, so basically in the paper preparation, this is a tips. They call it IMRAD, introduction. What question was studied, methods, how was the problem study and result, and discussion. So basically, as a reviewer, when I review paper, immediately I will look at the introduction, and if I cannot find the problem statement, I will reject the paper immediately, because that is the most important thing. We want to know why you do the work. What is the problem statement that lead you to do this? For example, is it in your work you do some improvement? For example, in control area, you are using partial PID controller, or you are optimizing the value of PID, and then you need to explain why the previous one is not good. So this is the key point for the reviewer to continuous checking your paper. If they cannot find this problem statement clearly, usually they will immediately reject the problem, because there are too many papers, too many papers to be reviewed. For example, like myself, I think every day I got 5 to 6 requests to review paper from IEEE, from various journals, ISI journal, but I cannot do it. So I just will select some of the paper that I'm interested, and I will do like that. I will check the content, the intro. If not clear, we will reject it immediately. Okay, and then don't put two good ideas in one paper, because sometimes if you have two good ideas, you try to compress in one paper, it also become backfire to you. It becomes very difficult to present. The reader, the reviewer cannot identify what actually you do, because there are too many things. So try to focus in one things only in the one paper. And how to know this? You look at the previous paper, okay, that's similar to your work. From that, you will get ideas, okay? Is it, the idea is the same, for example, like network reconfiguration, but you are using different technique. So you need to defend why this new technique is better as compared to the previous one, okay? So there are chances actually, you can split the ideas into two different papers, yeah? And then tips number 4, you can ask your colleague, friends, or professor to review your research paper. So firstly, you need to, if you prepare a paper in a grammar English, make sure the basic things, the grammar, spelling error, typo, you need to clean this first. Okay, you need to clean all of this first, and then look at the contribution. And then for a start, you can also to submit to a conference paper, to get some motivation or confidence. Okay. Excuse me, sekejap ya. Ambil jam ya, jam tanya. Jam. Ambil ikut jam ya. Okay, sorry, I asked my daughter what time is it. I'm afraid because sometimes when we presenting, we talking, we thought we just start, but actually time is running. It's almost 4. Okay, I will speed up. Okay, but be careful. Be careful, because nowadays they will check with the previous presentation. So avoid submitting a good ideas in a conference. You need to save it for your journal if you want to submit to journal. There are many cases whereby, from my experience, my student did a good work and published in conference. When want to submit, they compare with the conference and they say the contribution is similar, so they reject the paper. So be careful. So send the moderate one in the conference. Okay, so tips number 6, you need to read the guideline carefully, because there are some requirements. For example, some journal, they provide the template. You need to use their template. You cannot simply send your template, your own template. Okay, so tips number 7, don't panic. If you fail first time, try again. For sure, if you patient, sabar, but you need to be patient. Okay, there will be a point whereby after some try, you will get acceptance. Okay, trust me. I have this experience with my student. So don't panic. We need to try again and again. So this is actually a process of learning. Okay, so some of the reasons of rejection. Okay, number one, the paper not fit to the scope of the journal. So that's why you need to read carefully what is the scope of the journal. Number two, the paper does not make a contribution to new knowledge. So there is no knowledge. So how we measure the contribution of knowledge depending on the quality of the journal. Some journal, for example, if you are using new techniques to solve existing problem, that is considered a knowledge contribution. But the depth of the contribution is different according to the journal. Q1 journal, they expect more, of course. Number three, the paper does not meet established ethical standards. This is maybe more on the biological science, not for engineering. Has been carelessly prepared, means not prepared well, not following the guideline, methodologies is problematic, experiment data is inadequate. Okay, there's other reasons. So this one you need to, later you can have a look. Okay, example, reason of rejection. This is my own student. So you can see the paper does not fit the scope of the journal. They say here, we are sorry to inform you that the manuscript does not seem appropriate for publication in energy conversion and management because may cover areas similar to the subject of your paper. So they not accept because it's not fit. Sometimes if there are issues also, because sometimes when you look similar work, they accept, but your work they don't accept. So it's up to the editor-in-chief to decide. He has the full authority, full power to decide whether to accept or not, to accept for review process or just reject. Number 15, publication bias. Publication bias, it can happen, but in general, maybe I would say 10%. Publication bias here, because some of the maybe some of the way that some researchers try to do is if they will involve very well-known professor in their area, okay, maybe like a fellow, actually a fellow in that paper, so chances become high. So this actually happen especially if you are from Asia country. That's why sometimes it's good if we can try to collaborate with other researchers in other countries so that it will have a weightage also. But the collaboration should be genuine, meaning the professor that we included in the paper should be able to give their opinion as well. Okay, so this is actually a snapshot of the Journal of System and Software. Okay, a letter from the frustrated author of a journal paper. So the author, he is very frustrated because his paper was reviewed maybe more than 5 times, and still the reviewer not satisfied with the improvement of the paper. Up to the level he is very frustrated, he wrote a letter, a long letter to the editor-in-chief, and his letter became a paper. His letter became a paper in this journal. So the letter is accepted, okay, and it became a special paper in Journal of System and Software. If you look here, you can read yourself. You can find out yourself about this. Okay, and beware that there are predator journal or fake journal. Okay, there are cases where the journal is genuine, but the website is a fake website using a genuine journal names, and still happen nowadays. So be careful. So the safe way is to submit to a journal that well known, for example, under Elsevier or under IEEE. That is the safest way. But if there are some journal that are not in Elsevier IEEE, you need to be careful. because there are many predator journal, they just want to get money. And it's happened also to my student. Okay, when we submitted, the journal is ISI journal, but actually the website is a fake website. So we already pay, and suddenly we're aware it is not the actual website, because there are some journal, they are traditional, they don't have website. They are very traditional. Yeah. So because of this, some people take disadvantages to do a bad thing. So be careful. Okay. So this is the criteria to choose a journal: scope of journal, index, is it Scopus, ISI, impact, journal ranking, publication frequency, mean in year how many times they will publish. Maybe some journal every month. Okay, some journal every time. For example, like IEEE Access. IEEE Access. This is Q1 journal. Okay, but however the charges is expensive. It is online journal under IEEE. So the response is very fast. Within 1 month, you will get accept or reject. Usually 3 weeks, accept or reject. If reject, you can submit again. If reject again, you're not allowed to submit. IEEE Access. So I'm one of the associate editor for IEEE Access. Okay, this is all the details. Maybe I think you know about this. Okay, time to review, because some journal takes time, some journal very fast. So depending on the your condition, maybe some student need to submit fast. So you need to find journal that have some sort like deadline. For example, like IET journal, they usually 3 months. First review 3 months. The same like IEEE. They have their guidelines, so reviewer need to follow. Some journal open after 1 year, still not get the first review. I have experienced 3 years until published. 3 years, really long. Until the student already working as a lecturer, the paper accepted. So depending on the journal. Okay, this is some of the factor that we consider to choose the journal. Okay, but remember, just a friendly reminder. Number one, don't ever try to copy other research work. Nowadays, easily detected, because some of the journal, they are using software to do comparison. For example, like Turnitin software. You submit, automatically system will compare with all the paper in the world that are published, and they will see how many percent similarity. Secondly, don't submit same paper to more than one journal at the same time. Don't ever do this, because if you are caught, you may have problems. You will not able to submit again to the journal. You'll be blacklisted. Okay, and other things like when you writing your paper, be careful or mindful when you comment or critique other research work in your paper. You never know. Maybe the reviewer is the one you critique. He will critique his work. So as a human being, he will not happy, and he will reject your paper. This happens. So be careful when you critique professionally. Support with the fact and figures. Okay, so when should I start? Actually, you should start now. Start now. And you think how from your master paper or PhD work, there must be things that you can publish. So I will not take a break because it's already 4. Actually, many things I want to share, but it's okay. Okay, so let's say if you don't have ideas, I mean, you already publish all your work, technical work, why not plan for review paper? Because review paper, you do not need to do any experiment work or simulation work. There are a lot of journal, they accept review paper. The only thing is that it is a bit difficult because you need to read a lot and summarize a lot of work. So the strategy, you can work with friends. maybe 5-6%, plan the content of the paper, and then you divide the job. So it will make it will help you to get one good review paper, and it must be a general or broad area review paper. Okay, this is the details. Okay, I will skip this. Okay, so what is the advantage of review paper? Number one, for postgraduate student, your review, if you start to prepare review paper, the content of the paper can be your chapter 2, which is literature review. Okay, number two, when you prepare a review paper, you will need to read in details and you need to really understand the subject matter. So it will help you also in your research, because you know what people have done, why people don't do that, why people do this, and what is the future work. Because in review paper, they need to discuss what is the future work. So from that, you get idea for your research. And number three, review paper usually will be highly cited. For example, in some of the paper of my student, this is emergence of energy storage technology as the solution for reliable operation of smart power system, a review. Okay, so you can see the citation is more than 100. And this is all the review paper, all review paper. So you can review, for example, smart grid, renewable energy, situation in Indonesia, for example. But you need to work in a team because the content is huge. So you need to plan the work in a team. Okay. So this is the structure of the manuscript. I skip this because of the time is running. Okay. This is some example of the review paper. I just want to give ideas for you. Actually, a lot of things you can do for review paper. It's just, number one, you need to get the ideas and then get a team to work together. Okay. All of this, I do not need to have any simulation or any experiment. It's just we gather, we rearrange what people have done, and then we explain. Okay, and then we discuss what is the future work. For example, this one, investigating possible wind energy potential to meet the power shortage in Karachi. This is my student from Pakistan last time. Okay, this is how we can write a review paper. The same like technical paper, but we need to have abstract, okay, and summary of the work. This is example of the recent review paper, a comprehensive review of technical guideline for optimal design and operation of fuel cell-based cogeneration system. Okay, this is another. This is in power system area, comprehensive review on the optimal integration of distributed generation in distribution system. So a lot of things actually review paper. Just we need to get the ideas and a team to help to write certain part certain section. Okay. So keyword important, submission procedure depends. Some journal, they are based on invitation. Some journal, you can submit review directly. This is, for example, this one, the Turkish. I would propose if you have a work, maybe you think it's not up to the standard of IEEE, you can try to send this Turkish Journal Electrical Energy and Engineering and Computer Science. Usually they give a good feedback, although to reviewers, and a good start for those who are starting to submit a paper. So you can try this. Like this one is based on invitation to me to send a review paper. So this is the strategy that I have said. Teamwork, okay, teamwork, divide the task, identify most current hot topic by analyzing existing published paper, prepare the structure, and then once you have the structure of the paper, you can divide the task. And remember that review paper, the expectation, you need to critically analyze what people have done and how do you categorize the techniques that people have done. That is the contribution of review paper. So review paper, there is no right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. That's the advantage. So, but we need to prepare well. Okay, review paper. So if you're interested, you can start to think to write a review paper. You can work in a team. Okay, let's skip this. Okay, so if you have the publication, how you want to increase your visibility? So number one, you need to make sure that you are using the standard name for you. Okay, I mean, be consistent when you use your name. For example, like my name Hazlie bin Mokhlis. So commonly I will use in the paper H.Mokhlis. H.Mokhlis. So it will not mix with others. So you need to be consistent. Number two, you need to use a keyword, correct keyword to represent your paper. And then number three, publish in open access journal, meaning open access, reader can get the paper without paying anything, journal access. But the disadvantage of open access journal, it is expensive. For example, IEEE access, it's a very expensive, like in Malaysia ringgit, 6,000 something, 6,700 something like that per paper. But usually the strategy for me, if my student want to send to IEEE access, I will team up with my collaborators, with other researchers, so that we can share the cost of the publication. And in UM also, they provide some support for publish open access journal, but not much, half of the price, like 3,000 ringgit, something like that. Okay, and then to increase your visibility, you can register in the social media related to academic, like Academia, ResearchGate, Publons, and others. Okay. This is last part of the presentation. I just want to share my personal experience, so that I hope that it may motivate you to do to write a paper. Okay, so this is my first conference paper, and this is my first journal. So my first journal was in IEEE Transaction on Power System, 2004. I finished my master 2003. So at that time I'm doing master by research, and I remember it's not easy, and I don't have any experience of publishing, but my supervisor, Professor Khalid, he pushing me a lot. So I need to try my best. So don't think that you're not able to publish a good journal paper. We never know until you try. You need to try. You must try. Okay. And in fact, there was some of my undergraduate students able to publish in ISI journal, but we need to guide. Okay, the chances is there. We need to try. The idea, we need to try. Don't think that your work is lousy, not good. You must try first. And as a student, the most important thing, you need to get a good guideline from the supervisor, because as a student, we don't have much experience. We do not know. But as a supervisor, lecturer, we all have experience, so we can look at the broad things, so we understand in general whether the paper is okay or not. So the important thing here, always think positive. You must try. Because I have last time master student, I asked her to try to IET. But the work is not that I don't have that much confidence, but just try. And luckily, the reviewer give chance and give ideas how to improve the paper. So we never know. Okay, so you must try. Okay. And then as when I did my PhD in Manchester 2005-2009, I have tried to submit to IEEE Power System. The process was 2 years with 3-time review, and 5 experienced reviewers, and finally the paper was rejected when new chief editor was appointed, because it take too long maybe, so they don't want to keep the paper going on, so they just reject. Okay, although the 3 reviewers satisfied with the work and another 2 neutral, but the chief editor decided to reject. So we cannot do anything, because the chief editor has the right to make a final decision. the point that I learned here when I was a student, number one, when we want to write a paper, before we submit, we must put 100% effort. You know yourself. I mean, whether you have put a lot of effort or you just moderately do it, that you can feel, you know yourself. And whatever comment, we need to treat the comment seriously. I mean, and then we need to answer in a diplomatic way. Because reviewer is human, sometimes they're already more than 20 years in their area, very experienced. So if the way we answer make them not happy, it may cause problem to the paper as well. As a lecturer, when I went back to UM 2009, I do not know what to do. Okay, because at the time publication is started. Before that, people not really publish, although in UM. But 2009 it started when the new vice started. So I do not know how to start, what to do, how to publish. I'm lost. But at the time, the requirement to be senior lecturer is 3 ISI paper. So I need to do something at the time. I cannot just wait. So try to get advice from senior, but not really helpful because at the time, no one in power system. I'm alone in power system area. No one in the department is power system. Majority communication. And then I attended to our seminar on publication. From there, I get ideas how to do. And then I tried and I got 6 ISI journal from my PhD thesis. 6. So meaning, you must try. You never know whether it be accepted or not. But the bottom line, we need to try first. So the lesson that I learned from this experience, that nobody will help you in publication. You need to start first. You need to first find a friend. Keep trying. Don't give up. And then get advice from right person. Okay. You can be friend to others, but some friend maybe they are very negative. They will put down your ideas to publish in ISI. So give chance to yourself to try first. And then I was a senior lecturer and associate professor. So at the time, I already got students. So my role is more on how to assist and motivate students to publish. So the lesson from this is that, number one, student needs to plan the work hard, of course, in order to publish. Usually, once the student able to publish, they will not stop. Once they get one accepted, for sure they will continue. Okay, and I got a lot of experience because my student is average student from Indonesia, from Pakistan. Some of them not even able to write a single sentence in a correct English grammar. Can you imagine that? When one from Iran, he cannot write at all. But as a supervisor, I need to push him and motivate him. And finally, he managed to finish PhD he got 3 ISI Q1 journal in a top ranked journal in mathematics. So the bottom line I want to say is that we must try. Okay. Finally, a student also can publish a journal, but we need to guide. So never give up, and never underestimate your finding. Okay, one experience here. I got one student from Pakistan. He want to submit to IEEE. And then when I look at the paper, I'm not confident. I say, I told him that I'm not confident with the work, but he said, we just try. Surprisingly, after 3 months, we got the first comment and seems it's very positive. The idea is very simple. The idea is on the load shedding using techniques. That techniques also we are using a function in MATLAB we use to do optimization. And we never expect that paper being accepted. but it was accepted after three times review. So this is my experience. We never, don't underestimate your work. We never know. Okay, we just try. Okay, what is this? For example, this one, this paper is paper submitted by my master student. So actually the reviewer give a good comment on how to improve. We not expect this. So we just follow the advice, we improve it until it being accepted. So we just try. And then as a professor, of course, I'm targeting a more high impact journal like IEEE transaction, but sometimes I need to consider my student capability and also time, because some of them have limited funding. After 3 years, they need to go back. So I will look at the capability of the student. If they don't have that opportunity, so we send to low rank journal, but it's okay, still ISI. Okay, hot topic, smart grid, power system resilience. So as a supervisor, we need to train our student, start with high impact journal first, and then if they're rejected and not suit to high impact journal or high quality journal, we send to the other journal Q3, Q4, but we try, we must try. Okay, to conclude my presentation today, it's already 5 in Malaysia, 4:15, over there is 3:15. For me, publication is a process to gain knowledge. Okay, to gain knowledge, meaning you will keep on publishing, try to publish, to share your knowledge. Okay, because we never know that our work may become very useful to mankind. Okay, for example, long time ago, I met with one professor in mathematics. I was in a convocation, so I do not know what to do, because in Malaysia we have convocation. We stay almost 2 hours in the stage, look at the student getting their scroll. So I discussed with him. I asked him this area. He said algebra. I say, what is his contribution? And then he said that at the moment he also do not know what is the contribution, but he told me that maybe after some time it will become useful to data encryption. Most of the theory, they are using the old theory in mathematics. At that time, the one who proposed the idea also do not know what is the purpose. But nowadays it become useful. So never estimate your work. We must try to publish, because it is good for you as a researchers, as academia, improve your thinking skill, improve your ability to explain in logical manner, and also it's good for you, for personally, and also for your institution. So my hope is that with this my presentation, it will encourage you or motivate you to start to publish. So it is exciting experience. Okay, so that's all from me. If you have any question, we can discuss. Dr. Fauzan, over to you.
Yep. Thank you, Prof. Hazlie. Very exciting. Yeah. I mean, for me, myself, it's quite refreshing and motivating. Yeah.
Okay.
I think most of us as a students or such a master or PhD degree, for the first time writing the paper, I think we all agree that it is hard, but we don't know how we learn through this process. Okay, thank you, Prof. Hazlie. Now
welcome.
We can continue to the Q&A session. Yeah, we have around 20 to 30 minutes here, and we can share the audience, the participants can ask if you have any question directly to Prof. Hazlie, or you can type your question in the chat room, or maybe you have something to discuss or whatever. I think this is quite a good chance for us to discuss about the paper. Please, anybody, if you have any question. Somebody? Anybody? Okay, let me,
Selamat siang Pak Prof.
Ya, ada yang mau tanya. Oke, silakan.
Yes, silakan, boleh tanya.
My name is Ari, bahasa Indonesia saja ya.
Boleh faham.
Ya, saya tadi mau menulis tapi sudah bicara langsung saja. Kadang yang Prof sampaikan terakhir tadi mengenai manfaat ya Prof, saya tidak melihat manfaat atau kontribusi. Saya melihat kontribusinya kecil sekali gitu, dan mungkin ada kekhawatiran bahwa reviewer pun tidak melihat bahwa ini memang kontribusinya genuine atau agak dipaksakan begitu ya. Jadi klaim saya itu terlalu ringan mungkin. Untuk meningkatkan confidence tentang itu, Prof, mungkin ada rekomendasi apakah saya perlu menjelaskan secara terpisah, jadi di luar paper, apakah itu etis atau sebaiknya semua harus sudah bisa dibaca di dalam paper. Jadi kadang saya ingin memberikan latar belakang yang mengenai industrinya, contohnya kalau saya tentang riset sawit, palm oil, maka papernya kan hanya maksimal 6-8 halaman. Apakah kita mendeskripsikan manfaat penelitian ini di industri begitu? Karena bisa dijelaskan semua di paper. Atau sebaiknya itu tidak etis? Saran. Terima kasih.
Okey. Terima kasih ya atas soalan tu. Okey, biasanya usually some journal they ask us to prepare a letter to the chief editor to explain what is the contribution. But when it comes to the reviewer, we're not getting that letter. But what we review is based on the paper itself. Okay, I mean the letter is go to the chief editor. We don't see the letter, but we see the paper. So the strategy how to make your contribution clear, you must clear the contribution in the introduction. The easiest way that I saw from many publications, especially from IEEE Access, what they do, they clearly stated the contribution of this paper. What is it? 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I mean they list down the contribution, but the contribution cannot be too many. Cannot be too many in one paper because of the limited page. It must be very focused. Mean that's why I say the problem statement must be clear. For example, contoh dia, let's say we say in the previous work, in the introduction usually kita akan first paragraph we have the general things about the work in the area, and then we will discuss literature review. We discuss what people have done. After literature review, we will comment in general. We can say in the past all of the works have considered, for example, PID controller in solving load frequency control. However, there are still room for improvement in terms of optimizing the parameters in the PID controller. In the previous work, people have tried this technique. However, this technique can be improved using a new method in optimization. Kita akan tengok as a reviewer ni, saya akan try untuk lihat di mana problem statement tu. Kalau if the problem statement is not clear, it's very difficult for us to move on. To check the other, because kita akan relate. If you state the problem statement clearly, kita akan tengok your work, your methodology and result. Is it result ni reflect to the problem statement ataupun tidak? Kalau dia tak related, that's the problem lah. We cannot see what is the contribution. So the important thing for me the problem statement in the introduction must be very clear. There must be 1 or 2 sentence yang clearly said what is the main contribution of your paper. Dan dia tak boleh banyak pun. Very very focused. Must be very focused. Okay. Different from review paper lah. Review paper is different, but technical paper it must be very focused, 1 or 2 contribution only, and clearly state what is the contribution. So Saya harap itu menjawab soalan Bapak tadi lah ya.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Hazlie. How about Pak Ari? Is it clear?
Clear, Pak. Terima kasih rekomendasinya menjelaskan apa yang saya pikirkan. Terima kasih.
Ya, sama-sama.
Okay. How about the others? Any?
May I ask question?
Silakan.
Yes.
Thank you, Prof. Hazlie, for sharing your knowledge today. You mentioned about this approach for this review paper. I'm just wondering, if this review paper is extensive work indeed, and then you also mentioned you may also contribute, particularly, for example, current state in your country, something like this, if I understood from your explanation. And then if this indeed can be as a contribution in this big framework of recent work elsewhere in different kind of country, or how deep, how wide the methodology, or any particular area of interest of your research, and that's in this spot is still missing, for example, about Indonesia, not so much, not so much research being done in that bit, then can this be our contribution in this what I that would be one. And then second, and that of course, obviously it will be challenging because it's not so much work being published or being done in this, for example, in this Indonesia. And then exist in this academic world. Because not so many paper being published or journal,
Okay. Alright, understand. Okay, macam ni. So when we want to write review paper, in general, there can be two different ways. Number one, if we write a review paper based on technical, for example, we review existing methods to solve certain thing, pun boleh. Secondly, we can write a review paper based on specific data in certain country. Also can. Because another thing, recently I also read one paper. Surprisingly, that paper was written by from China's university about Malaysia. And he got the data from various resources and he combined and reorganized everything nicely and become a review paper. So also that one also possible. So dia ada dua, mana review paper you boleh discuss about method. For example, saya pernah buat on islanding detection methods. So he just comment whatever method that has been done. So maybe the same review paper has been there, but we need to update the references. The past 5 years, for example, 5 years review on islanding detection method, for example. Dia boleh jadi review paper. Okay, so dia ada dua, satu technical, satu lagi based on data. Or you can discuss about policy, something like that. Okay, so soalan nombor 3.
It's about the time frame, Prof. The time frame, are we talking like, is it enough with the last 5 years, the recent 10 years? Or we must go to the point where the last research being done in that particular, because it's maybe a dying topic already. No one interested.
Okay, good. Time frame, usually time frame is within 5 years, past 5 years. They're updated because although, as I said, although there is a review paper, is the same, you want to do the same, but you can write specifically past 5 years, review past 5 years of this area, for example. So pun boleh juga. So time frame usually the latest one lah, past 5 years technique. Okay. Because the contribution dalam review paper ini ialah one of it is the way how you categorize the technique, for example. Ini is actually is your contribution. I mean you categorizekan, that is a good contribution. The way you illustrate the method that you categorize also can be a contribution. Okay, so basically begitulah jawapannya, Ibu Irene.
Thank you, Professor Hazlie. That's very, very helpful. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bu Irene and Prof Hazlie. Okay, first I will try to read some question from the chat room. Yeah, I think this is also interesting. Yeah, there is a question from Fitri Indrias TV. Yeah. Thank you, Prof. Mokhlis. I have a question. If we want to publish a highly reputable journal, let's say Q1, should we start with the Q3 first and then increasing to the Q1 indexes journal, or we can just try the Q1 index? I think this one interesting because I also not some similar question because I noticed in your presentation say that we should try the good one first, then we can get the good comments. Yeah, even though it is rejected, then we already get the good comment and we can revise, right? But one problem that we can address here that sometimes we have a limited time, especially for students, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we can try Q1, but after 3 months, 6 months, or maybe like you said, 1 year, more than 1 year, it is rejected, and then we already spend our time, our limit, study limit. That's how do we consider this one?
Okay, that's a good question and very valid lah, especially when involved with student time, kan?
Yeah.
Okay. My strategy for my student is like this. Okay. Usually after 4 semester mean 2 years, I expected the student start to submit a paper after 2 years. Some depend on the student capability lah. So the strategy is like this. If myself what I did with my student, I will ask them to write 2 papers at the same time. One is for Q1 paper, another one is for Q3 or Q4. Just to get the acceptance to fulfill the requirement, because as you said, and we know Q1 usually takes time and it's lengthy process. So my strategy is like that: write 2 papers, but the paper must be different. You cannot write, but the contribution is not the same. The Q1 you put a lot of effort, a lot of contribution. Q3 or Q4 you very specific the contribution. For example, like my student, I will ask them to try IEEE, and another paper like Turkish journal. Turkish journal is Q4, and the process usually 3 months for the first review and 2 reviewers only, and then they control the time. Mean they will not exceed 1 year usually. So the strategy is like that for myself because of the timing of the student. So I ask them to write 2 papers. One, the good one, you put a lot of information. Another one, very minimum. For example, like Q4 journal, like Turkish, if you are using different technique to solve the same problem, that one can be accepted. For example, optimization, solve network reconfiguration, but using different technique, you compare, that one can be accepted. So it will save your time because the Q3, Q4 usually a little bit fast as compared to Q1, so you save. Because if you start with Q1 paper, Q3, you never know, maybe your ideas is very good, so you already lose that. So you may lose that chance to get in Q1 journal. So we need to try. So if there is a limited time with the student, try to manage so that one will be Scopus journal, another one Q1 journal ISI. do it at the same time. But different content must be different. Different content, the way you write different. Although not easy, but it's good because we never know. Sometimes Q1 also can be fast if your content is good. And one time you really get to. So this is how I did with my student. Because in UM also they need to publish at least 2 papers accepted before submit thesis. So I cannot take a chance if I ask send one and wait after 6-7 months, suddenly reject. So losing your time. So try to do parallel, but different content, different content of the contribution.
I see.
Is this?
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. Hazlie. The question from Bu Fitri Indrias Tiwi. Yeah. I think, is it clear enough, or you have any further question? Okay. Yeah. How about from the others? Any other things you need to ask or?
I have questions.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Bu Siti.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Siti Fauzia Rahman. Actually, I'm working on the wet lab. It's like material synthesis or biosensors. The main problem to work in wet lab is difficult to get sophisticated data in Indonesia. Why difficult to get sophisticated data? Because, for example, the limitation of equipments and etc. Do you have any idea how to improve the quality of the paper even we use only the simple data? Even we use simple data, but we can still publish in high quality journal. Do you have any idea to improve the quality?
Macam mana Ibu Siti, saya not very clear. You are using MATLAB simulation?
No, wet lab. I mean, like
wavelet
synthesis.
Analysis.
Wet lab. It's like synthesis material or something like that.
But that one, what is the purpose of using wavelet to synthesize signal or what?
No, wet lab is I mean, like the experiment is doing experiment in lab, but it's using like chemical or like synthesis material, like synthesis carbon nanotube or synthesis graphene. It's we called it in Indonesia wet lab, but
wavelet.
How to say?
I think wet lab it's lab basah, bukan ya?
Yeah, lab basah.
Wet.
It's not
wet
simulation. Yeah. It's not simulation. I mean, we are trying to synthesize material or doing something with the equipment, with the chemical things, for example. And in Indonesia it's difficult.
Ibu Siti bidang apa ni? Chemical or chemistry?
Actually, I'm from chemical engineering, but now I'm working in biomedical.
Biomedical, yeah.
Biomedical.
Yes.
Is it biomedical is more a lot of things you can do in biomedical, kan? But the problem you said the data is not enough, Not I mean, much
it's
data.
It's not so sophisticated. I mean, like for characterization material, it's like FTIR or scanning electron microscope. It's common characterization, but in like Korea or any developed country, they will use sophisticated equipment, so they will get like sophisticated data.
Okay.
It's how to improve the quality.
Better result. Okay. Understand.
Yeah.
So the limitation here is because you don't have sophisticated equipment to get a very good result or something which is different from others,
Yeah.
So your work is mainly based on experiment.
That's right.
Experiment. Okay. So in this case, for experiment based, I'm not have experience, but I do agree that if you cannot get sophisticated data or result, very difficult to publish in Q1 journal, for example. But in your area, maybe, I do not know whether you can do any simulation, okay? Any simulation work where it can involve some optimization, because I remember like in chemical engineering, but I do not know your area of work. Sometimes they have this, they're mixing certain materials, but when I ask them how do you know that the mixing is the most optimized one, they also do not know. It's just based on experiment, try and error. But maybe in your area, if there is anyone or paper that use simulation to predict your results, something like that, that one may be helpful. But based on experiment alone, I don't have that good experience. I do not know. Okay, because in my area also, some the power system like US, Canada, they have a sophisticated equipment to do some simulation, but I don't have that. So the only way is we need to, for myself, I look at the simulation work or mathematical work. But depend on equipment, we don't have that luxury like US. They have a lot of equipment, so maybe similar like your work. So if based on experiment, I do not know. I don't have the answer, but if you can extend your work for simulation or some mathematical work that you can relate, that can give a good chance for good quality journal. So that's the answer that I can give. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Professor.
thank you, Bu Siti.
All right. I think it's already 15:45 here in Indonesia. Yeah, I think it's 16. Yeah, 4:45 in Malaysia.
Yeah, in Malaysia 4:45.
Okay. I think we can finish here. Yeah. I will just try to summarize a bit. Yeah, because I have my own notes, and I'm sure that the other participants also have their own notes regarding the paper, how to publish, get the good quality journal papers. Yeah. The first one, what I note here is, if we don't have any idea at the beginning, maybe we can try the review paper as Prof. As he explained that Prof. Hazlie didn't have any idea and try to get some seminar, I think, and then got the idea about from his thesis and submitted, accepted like 6 journals. Yeah, we can start with the review paper. We can read, and then we can study the other literatures. And the second one, maybe regarding the timing, because most of us are students here, postgraduate students. About the timing issue, we can try to prepare 2 parallel papers. Yeah, the one with the high quality, prepare for the key 1 or key 2 journals, and the other one, let's say it is for the graduation requirement, right? For the thesis requirement.
Yeah.
We can try that way also. I think it will be very helpful. And the last one here, that when we write the paper and try to submit, we just try, because we never know, right? Sometimes, I remember the other professor also said that sometimes when we submit, it is just unlucky because we got the reviewer or editor, which is not matched with the topic. And sometimes when we submit again 2-3 months after that, and the reviewer or editor is different, then we got accepted. Yeah, I think that's quite. We can try because we don't know how the process. Yeah, and then we can try high quality journal first. Yeah, to get good comments, good review, good feedback, and then we can improve our manuscript, our papers. Okay, I think that's all from me. Maybe for the closing speech, Pak Catur, please. Pak Aris maybe cannot join still.
Pak Aris tak ada.
Ya, sedikit sibuk Pak Aris hari ini, Prof. Jadi mohon maaf tidak bisa bergabung. Oke, baik. Oke, thank you Pak Fauzan. For the closing, maybe on behalf of department, I would like to say Assalamualaikum
tidak
warahmatullahi
mengapa.
wabarakatuh. Good evening, Prof. Hazlie, Pak Dr. Fauzan, Bapak Ibu dosen yang ikut hadir pada agenda hari ini, dan juga for all participants. We believe our today's agenda is useful for all of us on obtaining knowledge and experience from our honorary guest of Professor Hazlie from University of Malaya. And on behalf of the Department of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Indonesia, once again, we would like to thanks for Professor Hazlie to give your valuable times in this visiting professorship program 2021. And we really appreciate it. And I have been informed from Pak Haris that maybe we will conduct another meeting with you to initiate kind of collaboration in academic and research between our institutions, and hope to see you again soon on another occasion and programs. And I would like also to thanks for IEEE Student Branch Universitas Indonesia team, which is led by Miss Karkati.
Thank you, sir.
As the
Thank you,
president.
Prof.
This is one of our undergraduate student as the IEEE Student Branch President, Prof. Miss
Okay.
Karkati.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prof. Hazlie.
She has already good in contributing, organizing, and supporting for technical supports and also cooperation with us, lecturer in UI in this event since preparation until at the moment. And then, last but not least, thank you for all participants for joining our visiting professorship program 2021, and also thanks for the very attractive and fruitful discussion. Thank you all. And finally, we have come to end of our guest lecture from Professor Hazlie, and see you all on other programs held and organized by Department of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Indonesia. And I would like to say good evening for all, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Hazlie.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, terima kasih semua.
Terima kasih,
So
Prof.
mohon maaf apa yang kurang.
Thank you,
Yes,
Prof.
sir.
Very much.
Very good,
Yeah.
very nice, sir. Thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you. Hope to see you again next time in physical.
Yes.
Inshallah.
Hopefully.